Please turn in your books to page number 88. It's a read and comprehend page. We're first going to read the top section, the target skill section. The reason an author writes is called the author's purpose. Authors may write to make you laugh or to give information. The reason an author writes something is called the author's purpose. As you read informational text, think about what the author wants you to learn. You can list details that explain the purpose in a chart like this one right here. As you read, you could use a chart like that one to add details that help you explain the author's purpose for writing. Listing details about the topic will help you understand what the author wants you to learn. The target strategy is to summarize. Good readers think about important ideas as they read. When you summarize a text, you tell only the important ideas in your own words. You will demonstrate how to do this and use this strategy to help you understand and remember what you read. On page 89, we're going to preview the topic of agriculture. Do you know where your food comes from? Many fruits and vegetables grow on farms. First, farmers plant seeds. They take care of the plants. Farmers pick the fruits and vegetables when they are ripe. Then the food is sent to stores for us to buy. You will learn more about food and where does food come from. We will begin reading a selection that's called Where Does Food Come From? Talk with your learning partner at home about what you know about where your food comes from. Describe the role that farmers play in producing food. You may pause the video. Turn with me to page 90. There's that graphic organizer again that will help you list information you find about the author's purpose. Informational text gives facts. Informational text gives facts about a topic. In informational text, you're going to look for information and facts in your words and photographs that show details about the real world. Our author is Shelley Rotner. Shelley Rotner started writing books about things that interested her daughter. If you have questions about the world around you, the answers might be in a book by Mrs. Rotner. The author, Gary Goss, says, "I love food and creating. I also love working with kids." Mr. Goss has written a children's cookbook called Blue Moon Soup. Here's our title page. Where does food come from? And here is our all-important essential question. What do farmers need to grow food? I want you to think about that question as you read Where Does Food Come From? Now we're going to preview our text. And as we preview, please help me identify features of informational texts, such as photographs and the information that they show. In this story, there are many photographs. Think about the information that they show. That looks yummy. We have apples. French fries. Potatoes. I see that there are many photographs in this selection. These pictures show the real places that food comes from. I would like to read this selection to find out where different kinds of food come from. I just set my purpose for reading this story after previewing some of these pictures. I want you to set and think about your own purpose for reading. All right. We are going to go back to the very beginning. Starting on page 91, read this essential question one more time. What do farmers need to grow food? This should be in the back of your mind while you read this selection. Please pause the video now to read through the story. Where does food come from? Look at the photographs on pages 92 to 93. What are the authors showing us? The information is right here. They are showing us cocoa beans and how they grow on a cocoa tree. And they tell us about how hot cocoa or hot chocolate is made by crushing and cooking the cocoa beans. It also gives us facts about why cocoa beans are important. Where does apple juice come from? You read it. Apple juice comes from pressing the juice from the apples. This selection gives a lot of information about where food comes from. The most important ideas about cocoa beans are that we get chocolate from cocoa beans and that they grow on trees. The most important ideas about apples are that they also grow on trees and can be made into apple juice. Cocoa beans and apples grow on trees. What do you think the authors want you to know about where foods such as potatoes come from? What facts do you learn from the words and the photographs on these pages? How do the two pictures on pages 98 and 99 help you learn more about wheat? You can also use the words on page 99. What are the most important ideas you learned about rice on page 101? Share that with your learning adult. Review the details about corn in the text and the photographs on pages 102 and 103. What has to happen to corn before you can eat popcorn? What are the most important ideas that we learn about milk from this text? The authors have written about foods that grow on plants. What other places that food comes from do the authors want you to know about? Author's purpose. Why did the authors show a picture of ketchup near tomatoes? Why do you think the authors asked a question on the last page? And why do you think the authors show all the photographs on page 110. Share your thoughts with your learning adult. You have just read Where Does Food Come From? An informational text about where we get our food. Remember that there are lots of reasons that an author might write a story, such as to make us laugh or to give information. Why do you think the authors wrote, Where Does Food Come From? Authors write for many reasons. Why do you think the author wrote Where Does Food Come From? What did they want you to learn? You can find details in the selection that help explain the author's topic. Use a chart to list the details that support the author's purpose for writing. The details in this story are all about food. I think the authors wanted us to know that food grows on plants and trees and under the ground. Food can even come from animals. The author gives many details about food to explain their topic. Conclusions. Sometimes authors do not tell all the details. Readers can use text evidence in the words and pictures and think about what they already know to make a smart guess about what the author does not tell. This smart guess is a conclusion. Think about the page in the selection that tells about honey. One conclusion you might make is that bees make honey from flower nectar. Readers can use clues in words and pictures to make a smart guess about what the author doesn't tell. A smart guess is called a conclusion. Look for clues in the words and in the photographs to explain how bees make honey.